Hey there, I wanted to hop on and share a really powerful science-backed practice with you. So if you're like me and most of the women that I coach, the go-to is to worry about things or stress, right? And to be overly critical of yourself. So it's never good enough, or it could be better, judging yourself, maybe feeling like you don't fit in. So, this practice is one of self compassion. So, self compassion is a practice of wanting to alleviate suffering. And so to suffer as human, we all suffer as humans. And I don't know about you, but when we are in our crap, right, or having a hard time, a lot of times we might feel like we're the only one who is going through this, or nobody has the exact same problem that we have. So I want to give you the framework of this self-compassion practice. And then I want you to think of something and I'm going to walk you through this. So the first part of this self-compassion practice is to bring mindful awareness to whatever it is that you're suffering with. So first acknowledging that something's hard or it's challenging or you're struggling with it, which sometimes we know we are, but we're so caught up in the story, in the mental chatter, or so caught up in the emotion of it, or maybe so disconnected from it that we don't really even acknowledge that we're suffering. So with mindfulness, we're able to acknowledge that we're struggling without getting engulfed in the storm of what is happening, right? We're able to have that experience, not judge it, bring curiosity and kindness to it. Then the next piece is that common humanity piece. So remembering that it is human to suffer. Not all humans suffer the exact same, but every single 8 billion people in the world, they struggle, right? We have suffering. It's part of being human. And so remembering that. And then the third piece is the kindness piece. And this is going to look different depending on the situation. In self compassion, there's a practice of that nurturing kindness. So it might be placing a hand on the heart. It might be, hey, I know you're doing the best you can do. If speaking to yourself feels freaking weird like that, because in the beginning, if you're somebody who is just used to being in your worry, right, with no avail, or you're used to being super critical and hard on yourself, starting to be nice and sweet to yourself feels freaking weird. So you might think about, what would I say to my kid? What would I say to a very precious person in my life who's going through this same experience? Or what would my mentor or somebody that I really look up to who has all the answers, you know, that person who's just a human like you too, what would they tell me about this situation? So that can be helpful to say, okay, how would they like support me with this? So sometimes it requires that we give ourselves the kindness, right? That's the best support we need. Other times, the support that we really would benefit from is to protect ourselves. And so if we've not ever been taught that it's okay to speak up, that it's okay to protect ourselves, advocate for ourselves, it can feel weird. But sometimes that's the most self-compassionate thing that we can do is say, hey, I need this, or hey, that's not okay with me. And it can also be to provide for ourselves or to motivate ourselves. So the most self-compassionate thing may not be to say, you know what, we'll start on Monday. The most self-compassionate thing might be like, hey, you've been saying you're going to start on Monday for like 3 years and you keep just thinking about it and actually not doing it. You deserve to have the health that you want, right? Like you have a life that you want to be around to see. You have loved ones you want to spend time with, and it's time for us to really just let's get started, right? So it can be that motivation. So I want you to think about something in the last 24 hours that has been mildly stressful, that you've been worrying about, or that you've been judging yourself over. So something that you've been critical of yourself over. Like, oh, I should have done this. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I'm not doing good enough. I don't know enough. Other people are better. I don't have this. Okay? You get what I'm talking about? It might be easy to come up with something. I don't want you to pick anything big. I want you to pick something that is like a 5 on a 0 to 10 scale. Okay? You got your thing? All right. So now I want you to think about this situation. I want you to notice how it feels when you think about it. Maybe notice how it feels in your body. Notice the thoughts that come with it. But I don't want you to get too caught up in the story. I don't want you to totally go there and let your mind get taken over by this story or of this situation, of this worry or of this judgment. But holding it with mindfulness. So holding it without judgment, just noticing like, okay, yeah, that's what's been going on. And bringing curiosity, like, wow, what is it like to experience that for myself? Wonder where that came from. Wonder if I thought about this differently, right? Curiosity. And now that common humanity piece. Reminding yourself, hey, other people worry about this too. And you know what? Other people judged themselves about this or felt insecure or maybe had some regret or thought that they could do it better. Whatever that is, whatever that language is, it reminds you that it's fair game to struggle. It's fair game as part of the human being experience. It doesn't take away from the suffering, right? I want to make sure that that's very clear. We're not discrediting the suffering. The suffering is part of the human experience, but we also want to remind ourselves that it connects us to everybody else. Okay. And then that kindness piece. So is it that you get to bring some kindness to yourself over this situation? Like, hey, you're doing the best that you can. I see you. We're going to get through this. You're doing a good job. Or you know what? That didn't happen. That didn't go the way you expected, but it's okay, right? We're learning from this. We're going to grow from this and we're going to get through this. You're not alone. And again, if that is hard to say to yourself, what would you say to somebody that you love so much and you really just see and feel the goodness in them if they were going through something similar? Or do you need to hear some words of motivation, right? Like, hey, you've got this. Maybe you place like your hands on your hips, take up some space. Like, you've got this. You can do this. Look, we've done hard things before. We're going to do them again. We got this, all right? You're not alone. We're going to make this happen. It feels scary. We can do it even so, right? Feel the fear and do it anyway. Or maybe it's a situation where somebody has crossed over boundaries with you, right? Or you're saying yes and you really mean no, right? Like you're saying, yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. Yes. And then at the end of the day, you don't have anything for yourself, right? And so the most self-compassionate thing is to say, hey, I really want to help you out with this. I really want to. And I've got to take care of some things for myself right now. Is there any way I can get back to you? I hope you understand, but I just, in this moment, I need to take care of some things first, right? So I hope that that's supportive. I love, love, love the practice of self-compassion. If you look into self-compassion, you'll find that there's so much science backing its benefits. We're actually more likely to fulfill our goals and be productive when we practice self-compassion. We have better resiliency, better recovery in life, better communication with our loved ones. Our relationship with ourselves grows and is one that's more loving. So it's so much science behind it. I'll give you one example. Veterans who served overseas, who come back, right, and have a self-compassion practice versus the ones who don't. The ones who don't suffer from more PTSD symptoms, more addictions, deal with addiction more, versus the ones who have a self-compassion practice have less symptoms of PTSD and less addiction. So it can really transform our life when we have a more loving, understanding self-advocating relationship with ourselves, which makes sense, right? So if we can start to have that, foster that really profound, kind relationship with ourselves, it's going to have a positive ripple effect on every area of our life. All right, I hope that was supportive. If you have any questions, go ahead, comment below.